I'm going to introduce listening with intention, right? Because before we can really start to motivate people to do what we think is important for them, we want to understand where they're at, right? So we want to get at their story, the things that are important to that person in front of us, not just the main problem, maybe the reason they came in, especially if it's a very medical kind of problem, like their low back pain. That's obviously essential to know about, but their beliefs about health and wellness, right? How do they want to be in the world? What does being healthy or well mean to that person? And then other factors in their life that are going to impact the way that they can experience health and wellness are also really important to elicit. This is important because I think, most, if not all of us are coming at things from a more natural or vitalistic perspective. And we believe that there are a number of determinants of health.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stage. That was fantastic. Holy cow. Now, what even do I say? I am sharing this thing here. What Dr. Stage says is, I agree 100%. I think that was really well done. Thank you. It's daunting because these are two really phenomenal practitioners that I am in between with Dr. Alschuler, who was the resident when I was graduating from medical school at Southwest College, and Dr. Stage, who many years later was also a resident, I think, at Southwest College. And so it's kind of interesting to be with such illustrious people that I respect tremendously. So there is 4 distinct processes that we talk about in motivational interviewing, and they don't necessarily go in this order, and they're not necessarily in this level of importance, but a lot of what Dr. Stage was talking about in terms of empathic listening and engaging. How do you establish that rapport? How do you connect with that person? Because recently there was a study I was reading in preparation for this, actually, where they found that there is a synchronization of brain activity among people who can be complete strangers with a simple touch. Just touching someone's hand, touching their shoulder, establishes a more synchronous activity in people's brains.
With a little bit of a different perspective, and I want to take it into ourselves as practitioners. And this was alluded to actually, and was really beautifully described in the context of a patient encounter or client encounter. So I want to sort of step back for a second and go behind the scenes for a moment. So I've given you this big old introduction, and I want to now bring this back into what we're talking about today, which is how we practice medicine or healthcare. And another way we can do this is to immediately follow a weakness with a strength. So for example, if a patient with cancer, I hear this all the time, my immune system is weak. We can say, you know what, we do need to recalibrate your immunity. I hear what you're saying. I acknowledge what you're saying.